The Promise Under the Maple Tree, Willow Creek, Pennsylvania, autumn 1907. The first frost arrived early that year. A thin blanket of white covered the fields surrounding the Parker farm, and the old maple tree beside the house had turned bright red and gold. Every morning before sunrise, John Parker walked to the barn carrying a lantern. His boots crunched against the frozen ground while the village of Willow Creek slowly awakened. Inside the farmhouse, Mary Parker was already baking bread. The warm smell filled every room. Their daughter Emma, 12 years old, sat beside the kitchen window reading a book, while her younger brother Ben chased the family dog around the dining table. Grandfather Samuel rocked quietly beside the fireplace. For many years, the Parker family had lived on this farm. The house had been built by Samuel's father shortly after the Civil War. Every board in the walls had a story. Every room carried memories. But that autumn, everything began to change. One afternoon, the postman arrived with a letter. John opened it slowly. The railroad company planned to build a new line through Willow Creek. Their proposed route would pass directly across the Parker farm. The company offered money. Enough money to buy another house. Enough money to leave. That evening, the family sat silently around the dinner table. The lantern flickered. Outside, the wind shook the old maple tree. "Will we have to move?" Ben finally asked. John lowered his eyes. "I don't know." For several days, John walked the fields alone. He measured fences. He studied the hills. He watched the sunset from the edge of the property. Mary knew what troubled him. She found him standing beside the barn one evening. "This house is more than wood and nails," she said. John nodded. "I know. But people matter more than places." Several days later, Grandfather Samuel called the children into the attic. He opened an old wooden chest. Inside were photographs, letters, and small treasures collected over many years. Samuel held up a faded picture. "This was taken the day your grandmother planted the maple tree." Emma carefully held the photograph. The tree was only a small sapling. "And this," Samuel said, unfolding another picture, "was your father when he was your age?" Ben smiled. "He looks funny," Samuel laughed. "We all do when we're young." Then Samuel became quiet. A family doesn't stay together because of a house. They stay together because they remember one another. Emma looked out the attic window toward the tree. "What happens if we leave?" Samuel answered softly, "Then we carry our memories with us." The following week, village leaders gathered in the town hall. The railroad company explained their plans. Some villagers supported the project, others worried about losing farmland. When John stood to speak, he did not ask for sympathy. He simply said, "My family has lived on this farm for 50 years. I only ask that you remember that homes are part of a town's history." The room became quiet. The schoolteacher stood first, then the blacksmith, then the baker. One by one, the villagers spoke in support of the Parker family. A petition was written. Dozens signed their names. Weeks passed. Winter slowly approached. The maple tree lost its leaves. The fields turned brown. One cold morning, another letter arrived. John opened it beside the kitchen stove. His hands trembled. The railroad company had changed the route. The tracks would follow the river north of town. The farm would remain. For several moments, nobody spoke. Then Ben shouted. Emma cried. Mary covered her face. Grandfather Samuel smiled beside the fire. That evening, the family gathered beneath the old maple tree. The sun was setting behind the hills. John looked at his children. "This farm won't belong to me forever," Emma asked. "Who will it belong to?" John smiled. "Whoever remembers why it matters." Years later, Emma would tell her own children about that autumn. She would describe the lantern light, the smell of bread, the sound of leaves falling, and the day an entire village helped save a family's home. Because some houses shelter people, but a few special homes protect generations. And beneath the old maple tree at Willow Creek, the Parker family made a promise. No matter where life carried them, they would always come home. The lantern in the kitchen window continued to glow every evening, and the old maple tree continued to grow,